We are live.
Where'd you go? Come here. No. Come here. Hey, Ben.
Welcome. Here we are, Season 2, Episode 2, joined as always by my fantastic, stupendous, and awesome co-hosts, Aaron Simmons and Zachary Brandevold. Zach is playing Dog Daddy and looks like he just got back from a basketball game. There's our mascot, Finn.
Yeah.
You know, how can I not start off with Finn? I got to go to you first, Zach. How are you? How is Finn? How is the basketball game?
He is a menace, as you can tell. But the basketball game went very well. It was Micah's senior night, and he must have dunked on 5 different kids. He had an amazing game, best game that I've seen him play. So it worked out really well.
Awesome. So he posterized some kids.
Oh yes, on some posters, through some terrific blocks. It was amazing. But yes, I'm doing well. Nice to see you guys.
Good to see you. Good to see you too, Finn. You're a good boy. No matter what Zach says, you're a good boy.
What are you, Dad?
Aaron, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing very good tonight. A lot of things, a lot of stress over the last week has finally been absolved. Well, for right now, which I'm hoping is resolved permanently throughout the year, and I'm happy that's finally done and over with. Fingers crossed. And so I'm ready to get this podcast underway, man. We've got a lot to talk about that we couldn't cover last week. And so I'm ready to kind of just dig on into this, and plus some new stories coming out, which I'm very interested to kind of see your takes.
We did. So I got to say, I'm glad you guys are having great days. I am struggling a little bit, or not me specifically, but my son has got COVID. So we are quarantining. Cross our fingers, everything's going well. He's not having any trouble breathing. He's just got a sore throat and some fatigue and stuff. But cross our fingers, we're doing everything the doctor told us to. Quarantining, doing all the decongestants, the ibuprofen, monitoring him closely, but so far so good. But keep us in your thoughts and prayers. Got to keep an eye on my baby boy. And speaking of my baby boy, look who is here. Gavin Casto, one of Jacob's buddies from school and a local mini wedge racer. So Gavin, thrilled to have you here, buddy.
What's going on, Gavin?
Thrilled to have you here. We also got Mike Hora tuning in, who looks like he is having a day possibly worse than mine in Jacobs, Iowa, with a dead furnace. You ain't kidding. That is no joke. That you ain't kidding. You better find a way to stay warm. You better curl up next to that fine lady there beside you and try to stay warm. Clash coming up. Man, look at these comments coming in. Look at these comments. Welcome. My neighbor, Jordan tuning in, the Mountaineer fans. Kiss the Fox. This is great. We got some great stuff going on. Couple of things to tell you guys about tonight. We're going to get into the news stories. And one of the things we also want to cover is a new segment we're doing tonight. It might just be a one and done, but we will have to see. But everybody's talking about the new paint schemes. Okay, so we are going to have a segment called Paint Scheme Face Off, where we put up a couple of paint schemes, we vote on them, and we're going to let you guys decide what you guys think of these paint schemes too. So Paint Scheme Face Off, something new tonight. But first up, since we don't have any races to review yet, but that will change next week, let's talk about the news. So Zach, take us through the news.
Zach, you're muted, bud.
Either you are muted or I have muted you. Try it now, Zach.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm forgetting things in my old age. First
22, thing, poor God.
Oh Lord.
If this is the start, I don't want to see how I'm going to be in the finish. Anyway, the first news story of the night is going to be the next gen car shortage concerns. Currently, Nascar is having issues producing enough cars to the teams so that they can begin assembling them. Are you concerned about how this will affect the 2022 season? Aaron, let's start with you.
Yeah, and we also alluded to this last week, but unfortunately we just had so much other stuff to get to this offseason because it was insane. But yeah, this is one of the big concerns going into a very bull ring track going into Las Vegas, or not Vegas, Los Angeles next week in the Clash. Teams don't have enough cars. Apparently it's mostly due to a shipping thing, debacle, just like most everything is happening right now. But it seems we're supposed to have 5 cars going into the month of February. They only have 2. And you got a bullring track and super speedway track. So I think that's going to be very much on the team owners' minds. It's going to be on the drivers' minds because they wrecked both of them early. Then you're going to be scrambling for parts and chassis again. So I think this may affect the clash this week. It certainly may affect the 500 next week. And so I really do think this is going to kind of affect the way that the racing is going to go on Sunday.
What about you, Tom?
What perspective am I? If I'm a driver, no, I'm not worried because I don't have to work on the cars. If I am a crew chief or a body shop guy or a team owner, I'm a little bit worried, and but I'm not too worried because I really think that at the clash, if anybody gets tore up, I think the speeds are going to be slow enough that it's not going to total the chassis. You might see some bent sheet metal, some suspension parts, but I think the chassis itself will, for the most part, stay intact. And this was something they brought up on a recent Racing Refresh show, and I thought was a really good point. If they're only going 50 to 80 miles an hour tops, then you got to think that it's going to be limited damage. So I hope that helps. I also wonder about some of these teams, like if Jacques Villeneuve is driving and he's not going to run every race after the 500, is there going to be a bidding war for his chassis that's used from the 500? So I wonder if some of these one-off teams are going to find some bidding wars for their chassis. So I think it's going to be interesting. I don't think it's going to be a huge deal because, like I said, I don't think the cars tore up during the clash will be that severe. So I think we'll be all right. What do you say, Zach?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be honest with you. I think that it's not going to matter as much. I do think that I do think it's a concern, but I don't think it's going to matter to the teams as much. I think you're still going to see people go all out. I still think you're going to see good hard racing. It might become a concern if you have guys wrecking out the first 3 races, which is highly unlikely. But if it does happen, then you might see a concern, and then they might buy up another team's chassis or sit out a race. But I don't think that is likely to happen. I think it's what's more likely is you have your super speedway chassis, and then you work on a chassis for the rest of the courses. And I don't think that they're going to be using that chassis very much. And to your point, Tom, about the F1 drivers, Jack, I can't say his name, his last name.
Villeneuve.
Thank you. They're actually running part-time schedules on road courses as well, so they're probably going to use that same chassis as well for future races. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be that much of a concern, but that's just me. We'll see what happens. Really quick, Tom, do you have that link so I can post it? You want to send it in the chat?
The link.
I
am not on the same page as you. You got to help me out.
Live video, so I can post it.
Oh, to our link.
Yes, our link. Sorry.
Yes. Oh, okay.
But
give me a second.
Yeah, no worries. Moving along. Greg Biffle is set to return to NASCAR in 2022. I feel like we're talking about 2009, talking about Greg Biffle again, but no, he is set to return. This is not a time machine. He is set to return in 2022 with NY Racing. What are your thoughts on that, Tom, if you can?
The Biff is back. Who doesn't want to see the Biff come back? And my gosh, could we only hope that we could go back in time to 2009 when I think all of our lives were probably much better because it was pre-COVID pandemic. It's interesting. He was fitted at Richard Childress Racing, which I did not see him coming back and didn't see it being with a Richard Childress team if he came back. I think it's great to have him back in the sport. I'm still trying to get my hands around exactly what all is going on with him, but I think that he is kind of the definition of a professional race car driver. He'll get what he can out of the car. He'll be aggressive when he needs to, patient when he needs to. He won't take unnecessary risks. If I only had a couple of chassis, I'd feel pretty comfortable testing or putting my trust in Greg Biffle to take care of one of them. So I don't think it's a bad move at all. I like seeing Greg Biffle back. Welcome back, Biff.
Yes, and I don't know if it's 100% confirmed that he's running the full season. I know he's trying to attempt to run the Daytona 500, so we'll see what happens around the rest of the season. But yeah, what about you, Aaron?
I mean, honestly, I don't care if it's the full season. I don't care if it's one race. You gotta love having the Biff back in NASCAR because honestly, along with all the other favorites from the golden era of NASCAR from the early mid 2000s, you always saw the Biff running up front. He was a household name, and plus the Biff is such an awesome nickname. I mean, come on, it's awesome. It's an awesome nickname, and plus Biff was one of the drivers. I guess the safest drivers in the field because he usually always brought the car home. He made very few stupid mistakes. If he tore the car, it was probably from somebody else's fault. And especially on Radio Sweetheart, you love to hear the Biff's radio comments because every other word out of his mouth is either the F word or something. Is either the F word or the GD word. Always.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of like a more potty mouth, but yet cleaner driver than Kyle Busch. And so I am excited to have the Biff back. I hope it's for the full season because I love to have him back. But even if for one race, that means it's going to be all the more special to have him back, and it just feels like 2009 all over again, which is awesome.
Absolutely, yeah. I could not believe it when I heard that. Good for NY Racing. I know they were talking about this for a while, getting a full-time team out there, and I'm glad that they're getting at least the Daytona 500, attempting it. And they're not the only new team as well. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But, I'm excited to see Greg Biffle back in the sport. I loved him when he raced for Roush Fenway. He was just I'm going to say it, he was an asshole, but he was one of the good assholes. So,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah. So it's good to see him back at the sport, although not in the 16, iconic 16 that he drove Roush Fenway for.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. It's good to see him back. I hope that he qualifies. But there's so many good drivers, one-off drivers that are going to try and attempt to qualify to Daytona 500 that aren't going to get in. So, who knows what will happen, but we'll see. But moving right along, we got the 2022 Clash at the Coliseum. Yes, our first race.
Woo-hoo!
This weekend. Coverage will begin at 3 with 4 heat races, 25 laps each, and then there are 2 last chance qualifiers of 50 laps each. The main event is a 150-lap feature that doesn't even start till 6 p.m. This is because they have a whole bunch of concerts and music and breaks and commercial breaks for a whole bunch of different people. So it's pretty crazy. But is this too long? And will people lose interest in the main event when it doesn't start until 3 hours after coverage starts? Aaron, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think it is going to be a little bit too long because you got guys that are wanting to go to and are going to races at 3 p.m. and you're going to make them sit there for 3 hours for qualifying heat, which is going to be great, and then at 4:10, which is an hour and 10 minutes away, approximately, they even put approximately on the website for last chance qualifiers, and then at 6, which is odd, but I think it's gonna be a little bit too long, but you know what? At least racing's back, and I think since it's the first race back, I think they're going to kind of overlook that or give NASCAR a little break with that because it is the LA Coliseum. It's gonna be packed. There's events there all the time, and so with that, I think they're gonna give them a little break. But yeah, that's too long.
What about you, Tom?
Oh, yeah, I completely agree. And I've been a big supporter of them doing this in the Coliseum and trying to make a bigger inroads in the LA market. But especially if you're a first-time viewer or first-time race attendee and you're there for 3 hours before the main event even starts, I think you're going to be walking away going, is this how every race is? Is this like an 8-hour event every time I have to come to the track or every time I want to tune in? So I think it's too long. I'm not sure why it's structured this way, but anyway, yeah, I'm baffled as to this. But speaking of the Clash, I want to say all of us here, friends here, we are going to host a watch party for the main event on the Clash. So it'll be up on this channel. It'll be live. We'll be running it on about a 5-minute delay from the actual thing. I think, and I don't know all the rules, but I think we can legally do this. We did it at the end of the races or end of the season last year for some of the NASCAR races. We didn't get banned. We didn't get copyright strikes. I think as long as we are there and kind of doing it as a watch party, and that's really what it is. It's 3 friends who don't live together getting together to watch a NASCAR race. But tune in, check it out, hear our take on the race. Let us know what you guys think. But yeah, we are going to be hosting a watch party for the main event at 6 o'clock. Not all 8 hours of coverage, but the main event. So please tune in.
Absolutely. I love to see you guys' comments during the race. It's one thing. And it's one thing that I wish they would add to Netflix, and because they have in other movie platforms, they had a comment section. So we'll be able to read through some of your guys' comments. We'll be able to talk together through the race. It would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
And by the way, my dogs are down here wanting camera time. So if you see things like there's Lola, say Lola, there's the paw. You can see her. And I got to jump in here. Adam Lauer. Adam Lauer. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You have doubled my net worth. You have doubled it with that $5. Thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate it. And glad to have you back, Adam. We missed you last week.
We did.
I went back and watched last year, and you were the first person to ever comment on one of our broadcasts. So that is like a moment in history, and you were number 1. So thank you.
Absolutely. And look, Adam, Zach missed you so much last week. He was bawling up after the show saying, "Where's Adam? Where's Adam?" And so, you know what? You're finally here. You made Zach's night. He is so happy you're here. We're happy you're here. Welcome back, buddy. We miss you.
Yes. Good to see our fans back. But yeah, getting back on track of the Clash. You know my theory behind this, why they made it so long? I think they made this for an in-person event. As an in-person event with all the concert and all the media attention and there'll be some driver interactions as well. I think it would be more of a in-person event for people to go. I think it's going to be better for them than it is going to be for live TV, which kind of sucks for people who can't make it out to LA. But if you're trying to attract more people into the sport, you want to create more of a homey vibe. Sorry, that was really bad. You want to create it more homey feel, then that is going to be how you kind of want to do it. But I think as far as broadcasting it on TV for that many hours is going to be pretty insane. And yeah, I don't think people are going to be very interested in all the commotion for the music that is there. They're more interested in wanting to watch the racing. So
we can only hope, but it is LA, so you never know what they're interested in.
You never know. But moving along, you got Tony Stewart's SRX Series names a president and announces the 2022 schedule. SRX is going to hire. Excuse me. Ooh. Okay, sorry, messed up. Where is it? I lost my train of thought. Sorry, Don Hawk, excuse me, for their first executive, chief executive, to grow budding motorsports property. And then they also announced their schedule with mostly new races on there. You got Five Flags Speedway, South Boston, Stafford, Nashville Fairgrounds, I-55, and Sharon Speedway. Pretty interesting selection of tracks, I would have to say. But I'm not necessarily surprised, and I think I'm most excited probably for I-55. I think it's going to be I love that track, and as well as South Boston. But you do see some tracks that were there last year, like I believe Nashville and Stafford were both there, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, what are you? Let's start with you, Aaron. What are you most excited about?
I'm most excited to have SRX back. I completely missed the first season. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little ashamed of myself for it. last year was just crazy with me in school, and so SRX just completely slipped my mind. But this year, since I'm way more free now, I'm definitely going to be tuning in now. And I never even heard of I-55 Speedway. I'm kind of looking at it, and it looks just absolutely awesome and cool. And so I can't wait to have that on the schedule and see the SRX cars out there. And then, of course, Nashville Fairgrounds. You guys know how much I love Nashville. And so I can't wait for them to go back there. Honestly, I think this is kind of a bad thing for all the drivers because Tony Stewart has more attention now to racing and kicking all their butts. But I think it's a great deal for Tony Stewart and for Abraham to kind of just like dump some of the load off of them and onto an experienced guy like Hawk. I think he'll take the sport to a much bigger place than what it is now, especially after her first year, which is amazing. Maybe can be just as popular as a majority of the racing thing is now, not for just kind of the local NASCAR and maybe a few Indy 500 or not Indy 500, IndyCar and Formula One fans kind of just say, hey, I remember that guy. I'm going to go watch this SRX thing, see what it's about. But I think this will kind of get them into more of a national spectrum, just kind of NASCAR and Formula One IndyCar is. And so, honestly, I think it's a great hire. Tom, what say you?
I think it is great. I think the fact that they named a president is a sign that this thing is growing and it's becoming bigger and it demands more attention than what Tony Stewart can do with everything else going on his plate. I think it's excuse me, I'm talking here. Sorry, Miss Lola. But I also think it bodes well for the longevity of the sport if they invested in having a president. I loved it last year. I got a comment here from Adam Lauer asking about what is SRX, and it's Tony Stewart's series. It's kind of like IROC in that all the cars are equally prepared, and you got drivers from a variety of different genres here, which we'll probably do another story at some point about who the drivers are.
Yes.
But I love this schedule. Stafford Motor Speedway in Connecticut was a fantastic show last year. Nashville was a great show when you had Bill Elliott and Chase Elliott going at it. South Boston is probably the most famous small track or small racetrack. So I'm just glad that they're back. It's going to be televised on CBS again. We'll probably be doing reviews of the races because I watch it. But I am telling you, Tony Stewart knows how to put on a show. Adam, you were asking about what it was. Every race was a great show. It was equally prepared cars. You run 2 heat races. You invert the order from the first race. Your average finish of the 2 races determines where you start in the feature. It is just a great show. It was great racing every week. You got to tune in. It's going to be on CBS on Saturday night starting the 18th of June for 6 weeks. So tune in. You will not be disappointed. I promise you.
It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited, especially for, like you said, Stafford and South Boston. Those are one of them we saw was one of the best track on the schedule. And then also South Boston, I just love as a track. But also I do have some experience with I-55. So I love that they added that track. But moving right along, our last news segment for today is going to be Floyd Mayweather, the boxer, is starting up a cup team in NASCAR for the 2022 season called the Money Team. They will attempt to qualify for the Daytona 500 with Kaz Grala. It is unknown whether or not they're going to compete in more than just the Daytona 500, but they'll be competing the Daytona 500 with Kaz Grala and Pit Viper Sunglasses as their sponsor. Tom, what do you think about this?
This is continuing the theme that I keep saying of right now, it's cool to be a NASCAR owner. Okay. It used to be that it was a Southeastern sport and everybody thought it was a bunch of rednecks who couldn't spell dirt. But, you know, it is now cool to be a NASCAR owner. We got Michael Jordan. We got Pitbull. Now we got Floyd Mayweather. So I think this continues the theme that it's great that we've got this influx of owners that are from the celebrity realm. I think it's going to be good for the sport. I don't know how Floyd Mayweather will do as an owner, but I think it's great. And I think it will help NASCAR make inroads into some of these major media markets like LA when you've got got celebrity owners out there. So I am all for it. I don't know how much success they're going to have. I would doubt that they're going to have a lot right off the bat, but I think it's great that we have this influx of new owners, especially when we've got all of the owners that have built the sport as we know it now getting into their late 70s and early 80s. So I think I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm go Floyd Mayweather. And by the way, don't start a fight with his driver because you know he's going to give him some boxing lessons.
What about you, Aaron?
I think for NASCAR this is a fantastic thing because, like Tom said, you got celebrities wanting to get into the NASCAR realm, like Biffle, like Floyd Mayweather, like Michael Jordan, and so you got a lot of these, famous athletes from all different realms of sports wanting to kind of dip their toe into NASCAR, a thing that we haven't really seen in quite some time. I mean, I don't really think there's been this much growth in NASCAR in quite a while. And so for NASCAR, this is a fantastic thing. Just kind of let people just kind of come in, see what they've got. If they want to stick around, they can. If not, then they know where the door is. But for the money team, very creative there, bud. I don't know. I'm pretty sure we kind of saw the same thing like a few years ago with what was it, like Swan Racing or something like that. It was kind of founded by I think like a boxer or MMA fighter or something like that, and they lasted like a season, and then kind of left out the door. And so I hope Floyd kind of sticks around for at least 2 seasons, but I really don't know where the money team is going to go. I think we'll kind of see and kind of know more after the season, and if they're going to compete part-time or just kind of a one-time thing. So we'll see.
Yeah. Look, I think this is great. I think, always having new owners, especially celebrity owners, is awesome. I think this just goes into the fact of how, and it's not necessarily cheap, but how cheap it is compared to previous years to own a team comparative to now. How cheap the car is because of their impact of making it all pretty much spec. They've been trying, the money team has been trying to get going for 4 years now. And finally, when they build a new car that is pretty much spec across the board and manufactured, so they don't have to hire all the technical expertise, they're able to run. I believe they have a alliance with Childress as well, which is nice. Same thing with NY Racing as well. They've been going at it for a while, talking about, we're going to run. Well, finally, they get their chance to do it, and it's all thanks to the new rules that NASCAR has implemented. I mean, it's not very long ago where most of your owners were typically car dealership owners in the Southeast, like you were saying. Now we got some celebrities getting going, and it's awesome to see. But that's all I got for the news segment for this week. If you, I guess, Aaron, you want to kick us off with the green flag, red flag?
I'll be happy to. All right, folks. If we're new to the show, green flag, red flag is a segment where we're posting about 3 or 4 statements or questions that we either agree to, which is the green flag, or disagree to, which is the red flag. And folks at home, please go ahead and play along with it and by commenting down below and see whether you agree or disagree with the following statements. I'm Smarticle. Starting with, the Clash format is too long because there will be 3 hours of racing before the main event starts. Green flag or red flag? Tom, let's go with you first. Do you agree with it or disagree?
I'm going to say green flag. This is too long, especially for a race where you are trying to attract new viewers and new audience. I think whether you're sitting in a seat and your butt's getting numb, or whether you're sitting at home and you're sitting around for 3 hours waiting on it to start, I think if you're a hardcore NASCAR fan, you'll probably sit through it, especially because it's the first race of the season. But if I really thought the goal of doing the Clash in the format it is and in the location it is was to attract new viewers, I think this is the wrong way to go about doing it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say green flag as well. I don't think that I mean, for in-person event, I think it would be awesome. Honestly, I think it would be awesome. They make a whole day of it, But for as far as watching it on TV, man, I'm not gonna watch the whole thing. I'm just gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna watch the whole thing. I think it's too long.
Yeah, I will have to kind of agree with that green flag. I mean, if I were there, I wouldn't mind being there for 3 hours because it's LA. There's plenty to do in kind of in the breaks between to grab something to eat or go see something else or go sightseeing or go down by the beach if you want to. There's plenty of ways in person to kind of fill that gap in there. But if you're on TV, but if you're watching from home like I will be because I'm in Tennessee, I don't want to go to LA. And I'll be working that day. So there's no way I'm gonna be able to just sit down and watch 3 hours of kind of just broken up racing when really 4 of those hours aren't really gonna matter because they're just practice. And so yeah, I'm gonna agree with it. It's a little bit too long, but in person, I would say red flag. I'm gonna be enjoying myself. I see Extreme Dirt Racing, red flag. I see Adam Lauer.
You said red flag. Right,
Extreme Dirt Racing said red flag.
I thought you just said red flag.
At home, I'm saying green flag. If I were at the event, I'm saying red flag.
Okay. I will say if they just spent the time racing, I think it'll be fine. But they added all the concerts and all the extra stuff in between. And I think that's what's hurting it.
First off, no. LA hates Tom Brady after after 2019 Super Bowl. They're not going to turn it to him.
Okay. And guys, I apologize. I'm getting messages here that I was seeing that I was trying to deal with. I look distracted about it's saying that there is limited ad suitability for this because of we don't meet their standards or something, and I'm not sure what that is. So that may be good for our viewers because it may mean that our viewers don't have to sit through any of the ads I put in here. But at any rate, I was trying to deal with that. So I apologize if I was distracted there for a minute.
Very good. All right, and you know what, Extreme Dirt Racing, that is a great segue into green flag, red flag, number 2 of the night. Tom Brady's legacy of 7 Super Bowl victories is greater than the legacy of the 7-time NASCAR champions.
Ooh, can I go first?
Zach being a Packers fan, go right on ahead.
Yes, I'm gonna say green flag. Actually, watching football over these past couple of 10 years, you can see how important it is for the team around you, and just the fact that he got 7 means so much. So.
Tom, what say you, being a Steelers fan?
I'm going to say red flag. I'm going to say if you turned it around the other way, I would disagree with the other way. I think the legacy of a 7-time NASCAR champion and a 7-time Super Bowl champion, I would put them on equal footing. When you are racing NASCAR, you got to beat 40 other teams every week. When you're playing football, you only have to beat 1. That would be my case for saying that it is his legacy is greater. But I am going to say I would put them on equal footing. So I'm going to say red flag. And Mike Hora missed the question. Would you mind repeating it? Because I'm sure he wants to vote.
Yeah, absolutely. This is number 2 of the night, and the statement is Tom Brady's legacy of 7 Super Bowl victories, because he did retire this week, finally, is greater than the legacy of the 7-time NASCAR champions. Yes or no? And with me, I'm going to go no. Because it doesn't matter if you're in basketball, it doesn't matter if you're in football or NASCAR or golf or whatever. If you win 7 of anything, that is damn impressive. Regardless of the sport that you're in, because everyone in that sport is going through the same trials and tribulations as you are. And so it doesn't matter if you're a racer or in football, because yes, they're a sport, but they're on different planes of each other. You wouldn't compare you wouldn't compare auto racing to golf. You would never do that. And so why would you compare football to racing in that way? So Tom Brady, even though I hate the son of a, I hate him for winning so damn much. I still tip my hat to him and all that he's accomplished with the Bucs and with the Patriots. But you also got to respect, Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt and Jimmy Johnson on their accomplishments as well. And so I'm going to go red flag with that. It doesn't matter if they're on equal footing.
I will say, as the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan and Packers fan, and how much – oh, my word. Hold on one second. Come here.
I think Flynn wants to voice his opinion here.
Oh, my word. Okay. He agrees with me. But look, I hate comparing different sports because each sport has their own legacy attached to it, or difficulty. It's hard to win PGA championships. It's hard to win NASCAR championships. It's hard to win NBA championships. It's hard to win football championships. But when you compare to other sports and you see, and I don't want to compare it, but him having 7 Super Bowls and appearing in more, I just think based off of what I've seen, I can't believe that's amazing. Greatest of all time. I'll say it. All right. I'll say it. But not the most talented. That has to go to another quarterback. But anyway.
All right. Keep us going.
All righty. And green flag, red flag. Last one of the night. Who has a better chance of winning the Daytona 500? Or excuse me, who has a better Daytona 500 in general? Excuse me, I misread. Greg Biffle, which is the green flag, or Jacques Villeneuve, it is a red flag. So, Zach, you first. Who has a better Daytona 500? Biff or Villeneuve?
Look, Biffle has the experience, but that team, I'm questioning. All right, they just got their crap together. They're hitting crunch time. I don't know if they're even gonna be able to get much practice in. I have to go red flag simply because all the practice that the 2017 and Jack has made with the next gen car. They have done so much practice on ovals in general, as well as super speedways. And it's important practice. I mean, Greg Biffle being out of the sport for so long, I mean, any motorsports driver can get in there and compete relatively quickly and adapt, especially of Greg Biffle's caliber. But it's still going to take him time. So I have to say red flag. That team experience is going to be better than driver experience. And Jack is not a terrible driver, and he does have experience on ovals. So I don't think that it's going to be a big driver difference, if you might say, than most people think. So that's just going to be my 2 cents.
Okay, Adam Lauer picking red flag because he likes the name Jacques Villeneuve. I'm going to say green flag just because Greg Biffle is Greg Biffle. He is, to me, I know it's been a while since he's been in the car, but he's still a professional race car driver. He's going to get everything you can out of the car. He's going to bring it home. He's going to take care of the equipment. I am betting that just because he is going to be a little bit more cautious and know how to make sure he brings that car home in whatever place it belongs in and not overdrive it and not put it in bad situations. I'm saying Greg Biffle has a better 500, green flag.
Yeah, and Adam, even though I do agree with you on that stance, Jacques Villeneuve has a much better name than Greg Biffle. I got to go Greg Biffle. It is hard to pick against the Biff because think about when I think back in like 2010, 2011, when he was with Jack Roush, they were just dominant on the super speedways, leading nearly every single lap together. And Biffle has more super speedway experience than Jacques Villeneuve. Regardless of what the car is, experience is so damn important. And even though Villeneuve has plenty of experience himself, it's on road courses, though. It's on road courses, not so much super speedways. And so I got to go green flag. I got to go with the Biff. And Mike, stiff for the Biff. That's a new one, buddy. You do you.
Adam, you got to wait for your kiss. Good night.
He had to put earlier comment. He's got to put his daughter to bed. So, which I am so glad. Without getting into any of Adam's personal life, so glad that he has got his daughter there with him, and that he's getting to spend time with her and put her to bed. So happy for Adam there. Okay,
Adam.
Extreme dirt racing here. Green flag. Biffle has been there, but they could put Tyler Carpenter in there. He's NASCAR ready. Is that Tyler Carpenter that drives dirt late models, the son of Freddie Carpenter from right here in Jackson County, West Virginia, where I'm at? Is it that Tyler Carpenter you're talking about? Throw me up another comment and let me know if you are talking about that Tyler Carpenter or if it's a different Tyler Carpenter. Sunny Dog, buddy, I love you, but you got to give me a little bit of room here, bud.
Mine's wanting to run away. I wish I had that problem.
So...
All right.
So so have we all chimed in on that one? Sorry, between the dogs and Adam's goodnight kiss to Zach, I think I got us off track there.
Yeah, no, Tom, you and I picked the Biff, and Zach went Villeneuve, having the better 500.
Yes, I'm going team experience over driver experience. Although he has raced in the Daytona 500 before, so
he still has, but not as much as Biff.
No.
Okay. Stop. Enough. We got to move on. But all right, extreme dirt racing. Yeah, he was down in Daytona practicing an ARCA car. Yeah, man. Tyler Carpenter is like, I don't know his exact address, but he's literally from the Ripley area, right where I'm at. I think he's actually in the same town. His dad, Freddie Carpenter, drove a purple C4 at local dirt tracks around here for years, and was an absolute legend. So I'm glad to see that Tyler Carpenter is getting a chance to move up and show what he can do in an ARCA car. That would be awesome to have him make it in NASCAR, knowing that he's from close to my area and what his family has done.
Oh, nice.
So, all right. So we are up to, I believe, if I am not mistaken, our new segment, which is Paint Scheme Face-Off, correct?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so here's the deal. A lot has been made of the new paint schemes and the new paint schemes and where they put the number and how the cars look now. Some people love them. Some people, actually, I don't know anybody that loves them. Some people tolerate them. Some people hate them. But let's look at some of these new paint schemes and give us your comments on. This is like the fashion shows they do, and they say who wore it better, or who wore the black dress better or looked better in it. Which paint scheme do you guys like? And I think we got 4 or 5 sets to compare here. If I can share my screen, we are starting off. Number 1 on your paint scheme face-off is going to be the Ream schemes. So who did it better? Is it the better Ream scheme, Kevin Harvick in the number 4, or is that Christopher Bell? In the number 20. I about said Eric Jones. Christopher Bell.
I'm going to chime in here. Stewart-Haas did it better. Absolutely, Kevin Harvick did it absolutely better. The 20 scheme looks absolutely atrocious. It sucks. Look at all that space on the quarter panel that they could have filled up with something. Look at all that. You could paint like the freaking Mona Lisa at least 18 times on that amount of space that they have back there. At least on the 4 scheme, they made use of all that. They got the race scheme up close, but they also have Ream.com. They got the Bush. They got freaking Bush beer right there. And on the back corner panel, they've got like some sort of other sponsor, right? All their sponsors right there. They made use of all that space, which is the whole point of this change. And then you have freaking Christopher Bell over here, who just didn't use any of it. They used none of it. I mean, seriously, look at all that.
Yeah, 100%.
So absolutely, Kevin Harvick did it better. Hands down.
Okay. All right. I got to make it 3 for 3. I like the Kevin Harvick scheme better too. I like the incorporation. There's more white in it, so you got more of a contrast in colors. They used up the space better to be able to get some of their secondary sponsors for that paint scheme in there. Yeah, I absolutely think they did it better. Mike Hora agreeing with us that it's Harvick. I don't think we got anybody else chiming in on this one.
No. I do have to say it's Harvick for sure. I think I like that incorporation of the white. Maybe if they take the sponsors placements and put him on the 20, maybe it'd be better. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Let's go on to paint scheme face-off number 2. Well, hold on. Maybe we'll go to number 2. The Battle of the Rainbows. Bubba Wallace versus William Byron.
I gotta say the 23. As much as I hate to say it because Exalta scheme is iconic. I think they made the 24 look too small, like the number on the side, especially. Maybe that's just in the render. Who knows? It looks kind of plain and basic compared to what they used to be. I do really like the 23, even without the quarter panel being used completely.
Yeah, I gotta go with Zach here. The 23 takes it for me. Even though they could have used a little bit more space here. Again, the Lindos could have gone over to the quarter panel and still be somewhat fine, or McDonald's could have had a little space down kind of towards the bottom right of the door. I got to go 23. The 24 is using that same scheme from last year, and I was never a huge fan on it. To me, it just looks like one of those simple like modern art masterpieces that just looks like a red stripe, yellow stripe, and just stripes all around it, and it looks like pieces of art. No, it's not. And especially there's just more empty space on the 24 rendering as far as I know, Tom, I'm sorry I interrupted you, but
no, you're fine.
Yeah, it's Bubba Wallace all the way for me.
Yeah, I got to say Bubba Wallace all the way too. I just don't think there's any flow to the colors on the 24. It's like they're all over the place with their colors, and I kind of like the dark theme and the more subtle nature of the colors on the 23, and I think the colors just blend together better. I got to go 23. So it looks like we are split on this one. We got some for the 23, some for the 24.
I have one thing.
Okay.
I was just going to say, does it bother anybody else that they have the Chevy bow tie on the nose right there?
Yes, it does.
I noticed they started doing that last year as well. I hate that. It is so annoying. Why do you have to put that right there? You have the Chevy bow tie up front too. Why do you need another one right there?
I don't know. I really don't. It's stupid.
And that's not just me hating on Chevy because I love Ford. I genuinely just am bothered by it.
Yeah, no, and I was a Gordon fan ever since I got into the sport. I was a diehard Gordon fan, and even that. So I was a Chevy fan. I was a 24 fan, and I completely agree with them trying to retire the 24 font, but that's a Hendrick font. So.
Okay, how about Mike Horace comment? The 23 looks like an old Canon printer cartridge box.
Yep.
I love these comments. We get that. I would have never thought of that, but he's right. He's absolutely right. So
yeah, it looks good though.
Okay. Now the ultimate debate of things we cannot live without: beer versus bacon.
Ooh,
this is a tough one. Two things that no red-blooded American man can live without: beer versus bacon. What do you guys think?
This one's actually a little tougher, but I gotta go with the Smithfield.
Ah, dang.
I go with Smithfield because the colors stand out a lot more. Smithfield use a lot of the space, and I love Smithfield for that. They use up all the space on the upper corner panel, which is going to be a big thing for me this year, to see who made the most available space, or who took up the most available space here. And Smithfield did that to perfection. I love this paint scheme. The reason why I'm not going Harvick here is because the colors just seem to clash or kind of like mix too much. I can't really. The Ford looks like too much in place, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It doesn't really stand out as much as I would like the Ford to be. But besides that, it looks great. I do like the Bush thing on there. I really do like it.
For me, it's got to be the 10. Oh my word! Look at that.
I know that car looks amazing.
That is probably the best looking scheme I've seen since they started coming out with them. 100% dead serious.
I gotta agree.
It looks like they hadn't even moved the number up. If you don't look at it correctly, I mean, if you look at it without it, I mean, it looks like they hadn't moved the number up, and the Smithfield is perfect for it. And they look at all the sponsor space they filled with all the other associate sponsors. Look at that.
Hey, Reem, this is what you do for your car. That's what you do for a car. You use the entire space.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think it's sexy. It's sleek. The 10 pops out at you, but not overtly. I think Stewart Haas as a whole has definitely come up with some of the best schemes this season for the new season. Mm-hmm. But I think they could have made the bush stand out in the back right there. I mean, if that's flying by, I mean, you're going to know it just because it's it's Harvick's car. Yeah. But it looks too much blue. Let's get some other colors in there. But overall, I don't think either of these are terrible sponsors, placements, or anything.
Oh, no,
but I have to go with the 10. Best scheme, hands down, since they started coming out with them.
Okay, I got to say, I think the 10 car looks the most like the old paint schemes where the numbers weren't moved forward. So if you were trying to make it look like the old style, I think they did a great job with that. But I like the 4. I like the blue colors. I like the mountains. I love the way that they really accentuated the bush, which matches with their commercials. So I got to go with the 4. I like Jordan's comment. I haven't drank Busch beer since high school. Me neither, Jordan. Me neither. Me neither. And Extreme Dirt saying the same thing. Harvick can add 4 H's on the Busch. But we got people going all over the place on this one. But I'm going with the 4. So, okay, let's go back and let's keep going with this. Let me get over here to the right thing. And let's see what we got next. Okay, Beard Oil 62 versus the Roush Findlay Keselowski Violet Defense number 6. What do you guys think?
100%. Oh my word, 100% the 6. Oh, that is such a sexy scheme. I love the highlighter yellow around the 6, and then obviously accented throughout. I love the matte purple. It's cool to see matte purple again. Before it was cool, or before when Matt Kenseth actually talked about Matt drove it last with the Crown Royal. That is an awesome scheme. I think they did well as far as filling up as much sponsor space, but really I think the highlighter yellow adds to it. I love the Beard Oil scheme, but you got to see it up in person. That render is not necessarily perfect. And oh my word, sorry, my dog. But yeah, 100% Violet Defense.
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go Keselowski too. That scheme just looks so sexy. The purple and the black, the fade into each other is really nice. So the little streak of color is a good touch. Plus the highlighter yellow 6 just fits perfectly. Plus they make the most amount of space with that 6 being large and in charge the way it should be. I think it looks very clean, very stylish, very sexy, very mean, very subtle mean. And the 62, I do like the 62 too. I love the colors. I kind of think Beard Oil should have made a little more use of the space kind of around where the exhaust vent is, or vents are. But other than that, I like that scheme too. But Keselowski, that's such an amazing car. I want to drive that thing.
Yeah, I just wish we had a better picture. I wish we had the like the 62 where you can see all the angles.
Yeah.
I wish we had something where we could see more of it. But yeah, I got to go with 6. I don't think there is a whole lot I can add. Okay, let's just show how good the 6 is. Look at this comment. I would almost drive that Ford. Almost. That's how good that paint scheme is.
Did I give you, or did you load up the picture that I showed you of last year's Violet?
I only got room for 2 pictures here, so
okay.
yeah, you may have sent it
No
to
worries.
me, but I can't fit it all in here.
No worries. So yeah, if you guys look up the 2021 Violet defense scheme compared to this one, I mean, it is night and day. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. It's good to see that they actually put effort into the new scheme this season, and yeah, I can't believe it. It's amazing.
All right, I think we got one more here. And this is the only one of them that I really had a strong opinion on. The auto parts store challenge. Which auto parts store is better? Chase Elliott and the Napa Auto Parts, or Ryan Blaney in Advance Auto Parts? So what do you guys think?
Oh my gosh, they have the Chevy logo on the nose too.
All the manufacturers have that. Look at the Ford; they have the same thing. The Ford logo and the Mustang under it. All of them have that.
Well, at least the Ford actually makes sense because at least it's not trying to cover their emblem twice.
Well, that's true.
But besides that, I think Chase has the better paint scheme of the two here. You got a lot more going on the sides. It's more busier on the sides, which is kind of nice. The 9 is again kind of not really large in charge, but it's up there and it looks kind of cleaner and looks more stylish to me, I guess. So I'll go with the 9 with this one. The 12, I think it's just a little bit too bland for me. The 12 is large in charge, which is what I love to have in a number when racing online. I love to have a large in charge number. But the advanced thing, I don't know. I really don't know. It just looks too simple to me.
Yeah.
I like the Michael comment who may or may not have walked out of it.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know, man. I hate the big Napa logo on the side. That's where the number should be. Let's be real here. I really don't think, and I think it takes away from the number. Honestly, the Napa logo on the side, I really think it takes away from the number. They didn't make it big enough. If they're moving the numbers up forward, it can't go past the A post. It really can't. That's one thing that I hate. And I think I would go with the 12 just because it looks like a throwback, doesn't it, with the black?
I'm glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah. It looks like a throwback. Everything ties in really well together. I love the black. It's something they haven't really done before, and they use a lot of the sponsor space. So I got to go with the 12. I hate that the number's so far forward, especially on the sides, but I can get over it. The fact that it looks like a throwback and it's black.
All right, this is the only one where to me I looked at and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love 1, and it's not that I hate the 9, but I just love the 12 because when I looked at it, what it reminded me of a paint scheme that I really loved was Rusty Wallace's Miller Genuine Draft number 2.
Yeah.
And if I can get this over here on the screen, I will show you. Let's see if I can get this to. There is Rusty Wallace's Miller Genuine Draft number 2. The Ryan Blaney scheme reminds me so much of that Ford that Rusty Wallace drove, and I love that paint scheme. So that is what made me say, "Oh, I love it. I love the 12." Reminds me so much of the 2 that Rusty Wallace drove, and those are both, by the way, Penske cars, and both when Penske was with Ford, which makes it, I think, even cooler.
They don't even have to come up with a new throwback for Darlington.
Yeah, they've got their throwback right there. That is their throwback.
I wonder if they are sponsoring him for Darlington. That kind of makes sense.
I don't know. We will see. We'll
find out.
That's awesome.
Okay. All right, let's get back on track. That is the end of our paint scheme face-off. So if you guys like this segment, or if that's something you're interested in, give us comments. We might do some form of that going forward, especially as they start rolling out new paint schemes, or we may have some kind of a little tournament where we take votes and create a poll and have paint schemes advance through rounds and determine a champion. But let us know what they thought about that. And we may consider doing more of the paint scheme face-off stuff going forward. But at the end of the paint scheme face-off, now we transition to the Clash preview. So what are we expecting to see from the Clash, and who is going to win it? So, Aaron, let's start with you. What do you think is going to happen in the Clash?
I think you're going to a combination of guys trying to save their cars, but yeah, trying to race as hard as they can and not write their stuff and not rip their stuff up. I'm still kind of worried about the two cars thing. I know it's the first race of the year. Is going to be on a brand new track, new venue, and I really don't know. I think it's going to be more or less like a wreck fest, and people are just trying to kind of just hang on and not really use all their stuff. Steve Thorpe, yeah, absolutely carnage enlarged, all caps. But as for who's gonna win, I really don't know. I want to go off the limb. I want to go off of the really far, really kind of thin limb here and say Kyle Larson.
Oh,
but
picked my winner.
I'm probably going to go with Denny Hamlin, actually.
Denny Hamlin.
I'm going to go with Hamlin as a dark horse. I'm going to say Chase Elliott.
Wait a minute. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
A winner and a dark horse.
Well,
okay.
All right, so major storylines. I think it's going to be set up. Currently, from what I've been hearing, they're not even going to be anywhere close to full throttle before they get back on the brakes in order to be able to turn the car, because once you get on the brakes, you're heading straight. So I really don't think that there's going to be a lot of I think there's going to be more passing in the braking zone. It's really just kind of like a Martinsville.
Martinsville, yeah.
But maybe a little bit wider. Maybe, if that. You're not going to have as tight of corners for sure. So I definitely think there's going to be a lot of people moving people up, especially early. I think it's going to be about getting the setup right, making the tweaks as the day goes on, because as it gets cooler, you're going to have less tire temperature. Brakes are going to be extremely warm towards the end of the race. You're not going to be able to change any of those things from what I've been hearing. So you're going to really want to make sure that it lasts, but also where you finish is important, especially in the heat and the last chance qualifiers. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think that, yeah, like Stevie said, lots of hurt feelings, but I don't think there's going to be as much carnage because the turns are a lot wider and more sloping than a Martinsville, from what I've seen. So there's a little bit more grooves to go up, just depending on how many people can run the outside line. What I will say is, for the winner, I am going to go with Martin Truex Jr. He is a Martinsville master, and I think this plays right into his wheelhouse with this kind of track. As far as my dark horse goes, and I'm going to go with a true, genuine dark horse, I'm going to say Corey LaJoie. He has short track prowess. He has nothing to lose, so why not him? And it's not going to be a horsepower-dominated track. It's mainly going to be get your setup right early and make some adjustments when you need to. So I'm going to say Corey LaJoie with the equal car now, mostly. I think he's going to be my dark horse.
Okay. I don't think the carnage is going to be that bad. And I think if somebody gets their car wrecked or tore up, I think they'll be able to fix it. I think especially with people advancing, I think is it the top 4 in the heat races automatically advance. I think you're going to see a lot of people get out into that lead and get into that top 4 spot and then just kind of ride and say, I'm in. I don't want to make an enemy. I don't want to get in a wreck. I don't want to be too aggressive. As long as I'm in the top 4, I'll transfer to the feature. So I think that's almost half your heat race field right there. They'll be battling obviously for the transfer spot, but that's it. But who's going to win it? I am going with I am going with Joey Logano for the simple reason that on a little bull ring where you're probably going to have to move somebody out of the way, there are a lot of guys that would put somebody into the wall for a win. Joey Logano would put his mom into a wall to finish 8th place instead of 9th. And I think it's that kind of aggressiveness that it's going to take to win. So I'm going with Joey Logano to win. And as a dark horse, I'll go with Bubba Wallace as a dark horse. Just because we know he can get around a dirt track. He did it in the Truck Series at Eldora. And everybody says he's pretty good on dirt. I'm going to go with Bubba Wallace as my dark horse.
Yeah, I dirt track might help, but experience, I don't know. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting for sure.
It is.
It definitely will be.
It really is. All right, that has brought us to basically the point where if you guys have anything you want us to discuss, let us know. We didn't plug this earlier as fan interaction, but if you got something, you have a question for us or a topic you want to see us discuss, let us know. And while you guys are thinking about that, I got a couple of things to say. I was contacted by 5 Star Racing League who wanted me to say that they are starting their league on February 12th. They are looking for drivers. They do 50% races 3 times wear, old school NASCAR rules with no stages. And if you want to get into their league, all they told me was reach out to them through their Facebook page, but they didn't provide me a link or the name of the Facebook page. So, guys, I'm happy to help you out, but you can't make it hard on me, okay? If you want me to shout out your league or do something, give me all the available information. Don't tell me look it up on our Facebook page because I don't know your Facebook page, and I'm not going to go tracking it down to help you promote your league. You got to send it to me. Send me the link if you want me to promote it. Happy to help, but you got to make it easy on me, guys. Don't make me do the work. But they are looking for drivers, and they are starting their league February 12th, 50% races, 3 times wear. Looks like we are getting some things. Let's see some comments here. Joey Logano will put his mom into the wall. How wrong that's okay. Okay. All right.
Dylan. Just had to make it weird, didn't you?
Yeah, had to make it weird.
Had to make it weird, man. Dude, this is a family show, man. Come on.
Okay, Extreme Dirt Racing. Let's do who wins the 500. I'm not sure. I want to save that until the week of the week before the race before we make an official prediction.
Way too soon.
And I want to see some practices, and I want to see some stuff for. I don't know, but I will say this: it seems like it could be anybody's race.
Kaz Gralla will win the 500 for the money team.
Oh my word!
Jacques Villeneuve second, Greg Biffle third.
Put your bets in now. You know what? I'm gonna do a way too early one. Why not? I'm gonna say without any practice or qualifying, just going based off of what I've seen. I'm gonna say Joey Logano.
Boo!
He was in position to do it last year. He was there at the end.
He was.
Dylan Smith is saying Brad K. Stevie Throop wants to know, will the Darlington throwbacks have numbers in their correct location? Probably not.
They freaking better be.
I bet not.
I hope so.
They better be.
I bet not.
Either they put the numbers back where they belong or don't do it at all. That's my opinion.
I really hope so.
Extreme Dirt Race, what's the name of the league? It is the 5 Star E-Racing League. That is the name of the league.
You probably can look them up on Facebook.
Yeah. Stevie Throop. Ricky spin out, really?
Ricky Reckhouse. That's an hey, that is a dark horse pick. I like it.
That is a very dark horse pick. But hey, you know what they say? If your engine fires, you got a shot to win.
Yeah.
Mike Hora, who generally doesn't make a comment unless he knows, says no, they will be in the new position, which is what I expect.
That will be a disgrace. That will be.
Oh, and to back up Mike Hora, there is Dylan Smith saying it's already been reported.
Well, there we go.
Just get rid of it. Get rid of the new.
Thank you,
get
Dylan.
rid of that weekend. Get rid of it.
Thank you. Our souls are crushed.
Just get rid of
Our
it.
hopes and dreams.
No.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is a travesty.
Your guys' definition of travesty and soul crushing is very different than mine. I really don't care. They could put the numbers upside down for all I care.
Look, if that means better racing, I'm all for it. I don't care. That means that we have a 3-wide finish at Darlington. I'll take it.
Mike Hora saying they have RCR backing in the money team, so that isn't out of the realm of possibility. Okay, it's Daytona. Anybody could win.
Okay, but so did what was that team? Look, Rick Ware Racing had Stuart Haas backing, and look where they finished consistently.
Well, one that was Rick Ware Racing, two that was Stuart Haas.
Huh?
Well, one that was Rick Ware Racing. They're in competent bunch. And two, that was Stuart Haas Racing last year. So probably weren't getting two better equipment.
Anyway.
Mike said there's going to be a lot of Hudson Hornet throwbacks this year. Yeah.
That's the only throwback that they can possibly do.
Yeah.
Everything else is going to look stupid.
Except the Miller Genuine Draft Ford.
Except that one. That one looks okay.
Look at Kiss the Fox says Bubba for his Daytona pick.
He won Talladega.
Hey, he did, but you know what? Let's be honest, okay? It's Daytona. We could put Zach out there in a 92 Toyota Camry, and as long as he can stay in the draft, he's got a chance.
Hey, you know what? Don't get me excited now. Don't get me excited. I'm gonna have to have you sponsor Hutton for me.
Oh, here's one from Extreme Dirt Racing. It's gonna be a little off of racing, but you know what? Screw it. It's Super Bowl weekend. Rams or Bengals? Who do you got for the freaking Super Bowl? I never thought I'd say Bengals for the Super Bowl.
I think Bengals. I think if they can beat Kansas City in Kansas City, they can beat anybody anywhere.
I'm going to go Rams, but I'm going to bet on the Bengals simply because I think I'm going to win a lot of money.
Okay. Has Vegas got the Rams as favorites? I haven't looked at the line.
I'm not sure. But I think Rams are more all in. They have nothing really to lose because they're going to be a trash organization with all the lack of first round picks and other picks that they have. They loaded up way too much. I think if the Rams don't win it, it'll be kind of sad. But I said the same thing about the Packers. It was their year. They beat both of these teams. I just want to point that out. During the regular season.
Not for accounts, though.
Get it done. Hey.
Yeah, no, I thought Kansas City was top to bottom, the best team in the NFL, and Cincinnati went and beat them in Kansas City. I'm like, if they can beat the Chiefs, they can beat anybody anywhere. So,
I want to go Bengals just because they're more of the underdog in this situation. But here's the thing. The Rams have Aaron Darnold. The Bengals have no offensive line. Burrow is going to die. More so than the Titans trying to kill him. The Rams are going to murder him. Especially with a hyped up and possibly very, very aggressive Aaron Darnold. He's going to die in the pocket several times. Yeah. So I want to go Rams all because of that. So Burrow has to get the ball out super quickly before Aaron Donald comes up to him and just knocks his lights out.
I'm just saying the conas on Burrow after his post game interview, they compared it to Ricky Bobby Talladega Night's speech. It was like I'm just excellent, or I'm just the greatest there ever was. I just wake up in the morning and I piss excellence. It was awesome. It was like
pissing
balls of steel. This one.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. He's going to be pissing into a colostomy bag if the Bengals don't work on that offensive line.
You know what, though? This isn't the first time they've had a suspect offensive line go against great pass rushers, because Tennessee was no slouch with their pass rushers.
They weren't, but we had no offense.
But I just feel like the Bengals do a great job from a scheme standpoint of getting guys open, getting the ball out quick, doing things to slow down the pass rush, either with chipping with the tight end or play action passes or screen passes. They do a great job from a scheme standpoint of covering up that weakness. So I think I'm going with Bengals on this one.
Hopefully, it won't be like a complete shutout, boring game like it was. Yeah. Like it was when the Rams went to the Super Bowl the last time.
And Extreme Dirt Racing, we got to catch up here. We got to talk sometime offline, because you and I had to have crossed paths somewhere, because we live too close to each other. We go to the same dirt track. I bet we know a lot of the same people. If I were to name somebody you've probably seen race or you might know, Kenny Johnson, that runs in the modified class, is one of my good friends. Early on in his career, my dad actually built engines for his car, but loved seeing him run at Skyline and at Ohio Valley when he makes appearances there. But we got to catch up sometime. We have to know some of the same people. But we do need to start wrapping this show up for tonight. So, Guys, give me your parting thoughts here. What are your white flag comments? What do you want to say as we are wrapping the show up this evening?
Aaron, go first. Go first. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, first off, I just want to say thank God racing is coming back this weekend. It's been too damn long. I'm ready to kind of get back into the swing of the full NASCAR season. And I'm ready to see if this little NASCAR experiment at LA is going to really work or not. Because NASCAR has said they sunk nearly $1 million into this track, just into the track, to try and make this work. And so I'm really kind of expecting, and I'm really kind of waiting to see kind of how this little LA experiment is going to work for them. And I can't wait for next week's podcast, because we actually have some racing to talk about. Finally, after nearly 3 months and 2 episodes of not being able to talk about racing, just trying to fill in time, we finally have some racing to talk about next week. I'm so excited.
Zach, what do you have to say?
Oh, man. Okay, so I will say exciting new sponsor news. UFC's president Dana White announced a deal with Team Trackhouse, which will carry the Hallower Head whiskey that White is a co-owner and primary sponsor for LA Coliseum. That scheme looks pretty awesome. It kind of reminds me of the McDonald's scheme a little bit, because it's the similar colors. I thought they were going to go with USC because they had a sneak peek, and it obviously they're playing at the USC track. The track is at the USC stadium, so that's what they're going to go with. But no, it's UFC Dana White getting involved in NASCAR with his Kentucky Banana Whiskey. So
okay, UFC Ultimate Fighting Championship. That's UFC. Okay.
Yes. So awesome, and also, oh gosh. So apparently now, according to NASCAR, the number 2 starter can beat the pole sitter to the start line as long as they don't jump the restart by mashing the gas earlier.
Okay.
So
interesting.
So that's something new.
Martin Truex Jr. is saying, where was that rule last year?
Yeah.
But he's saying that.
So no more judgment if the pole sitter spins his tires or misses a shift. So
yeah, Martin Truex Jr. is wanting to know where that rule was last year.
They finally fixed that one.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Extreme Dirt, man. Kyle Bond, man. I'm so old. I remember when it was, I think his grandfather Ronnie Bond running the blue car with the white tin on it, and then it became Larry Bond. Now it's Kyle Bond. That is a racing family right there. That is racing royalty in the Ohio Valley when you're talking about the Bond family. Also, since we're talking about UFC, Extreme Dirt Racing US3 is now free on PlayStation this month. So if you're a UFC fan, with all that being said, my parting comments, I got to stop letting Aaron go first. Next week, we get to talk about an actual race. We get to talk about an actual real NASCAR race. It has
Finally.
been so long. I can't wait. I'm excited. So I don't know what else to say. You know, we get racing back next week. What more could you ask for in February? So other than that, I am really, really hoping that groundhog in Pennsylvania, Punxsutawney Phil, does us a favor tomorrow and predicts an early spring, and I hope he is right. So come on, Punxsutawney Phil. Got my fingers crossed. Let's bring on this early spring. We could all use it. So with that, that is all I got. Thank you guys all for tuning in, and let us know what you think. You got any comments you can put in, I guess, after we go off the air or rewatch it. Segments you liked, you didn't like, other things you want to see. We always enjoy hearing from our viewers, and we hope to have all of you back next week. Please, please, please like and subscribe and tell your friends. So that's the 3 things we want next week. Like, subscribe, and tell your friends so we can have even more viewers next week. Thank you, guys. And we are out of here.
Yes. See you guys next week.